It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live edition of the Mike Prince Show right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Of course, it is our daily mission to bring you news that you can use, try to give you something each and every day. Today, we hope we can hit that quota for you. Our scheduled guest on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline will be the athletic director of the Texas Southern Tigers, none other than Kevin Granger. Get a chance to talk to him in depth about the world of athletics, according to the Tigers of Texas Southern, the old maroon and gray cousins from down the road. A lot going on. Twitter has gotten someone slapped on the wrist. We'll kind of hit on that a little bit. Fall camps wrapping up. The portal still wreaking havoc, doing what it does, creating opportunities. We'll see. And there's something that I've been digging up, kind of playing around with. Probably I'll go more in detail with it on our Monday episode. But ADs and their short lifespans, is that something that one really desires? We'll kind of hit on that a little bit later on. Probably not tonight, but we might. Who knows? You never can tell what's going on. So with all that being said, let us jump right into this evening's episode. I want to thank you guys so much for joining in with us. It is always a joy and a pleasure to be able to present to you things throughout the world of athletics. As you know, it is always something going on in the world of Twitter. I don't know how people keep up with it the way they do, but it is what it is. Some people truly thrive off of it. Of course, I have a Twitter account. It is at the Mike Prince Show. You can follow me if you'd like. And I try to return the favor. But old KJ Black, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at FAMU, PV, legend, champion quarterback, got hit on the wrist, I guess, by the Twitter control people. Apparently, one of the quarterbacks decided to hit the portal, and there was a reference of I went from number 3 to something like a huge line of people in the portal. And, of course, the people reacted and said, shame on you, KJ. You should not have said that. Leave that kid alone. And went as far as to say, hey, buddy, you were a transfer yourself. I don't know. Is it out of control? It is what it is. People are going to do what they're going to do. People are going to say what they're going to say. And I guess that's why we will always have job security in our field. So we got some people going in and out, trying to get some stuff taken care of. I got people trying to call in on the show. They don't realize that we're live on Sundays from 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Meanwhile, with that being said, a lot of preparation as this portal continues to go. Story Jackson, of course, hit the portal. A lot of people were up in arms about that. Not as much from my end. Not that I would love to see this man stay in purple and gold, but he's already reached the All-American status. He has done his thing, if you would. So now he will open up to see any takers, take them on. Hopefully he gets a chance for playing on Sundays. Of course, that is his ultimate goal. His old teammate Stubblefield has decided that he's going to go the way of Kansas and put his toe in the water, if you would. So do you think that the portal is a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think NIL, naming, image, and likeness, is going to be one? One of the misnomers about the NIL piece, everyone's not going to get paid. You're going to truly see a degree of the haves and the have-nots with this piece that's involved. Because once the rubber meets the road, you're going to really, literally see what your worth is. You know, some people think high of themselves, and you more than likely should. If you don't believe in yourself, then who will? But it's going to bring about a total different atmosphere. And what is that going to do for the HBCUs? It's already a tall order, trying to keep up, spending money that you don't have, trying to woo student athletes to come and be a part of your program. What's going to happen? What's the future? Will the administrative side of things at HBCUs and FCSs, for that matter, start pulling some funding out? They always say, hey, we're spending enough. We're all about the academia. Let's focus on the academia, and the rest of the stuff will be the rest of the stuff. So it is so much going on, so many moving parts. Have you got your season passes? Are you willing to support your team in person? Will you be one of those in the crowd when the whistle blows to officially kick off fall football? Or will you still be one somewhat apprehensive about coming in? How will your team do? It's a lot of pressure on some coaches. Some obvious pressure, some not so obvious pressure. A lot on the table. Can you stand the heat? Can you stand the pressure? And if you were to pick, let's just say, two programs, one from the East and one from the West, football only at this point, who would be the coach on the hottest seat, coming from the East, coming from the West? Might have to put that out as a poll question. Who will be on that hot seat? I know what we're going to do. We got to get ready for our hotline, and we're going to prepare to hear from Athletic Director Kevin Granger of the Texas Southern Tigers, the maroon and gray. We'll step aside for a moment, and we'll be right back with more of the Mike Prince Show live on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Reflections Paint and Auto Body Shop, located in Waller, Texas, is ready to restore the beauty of your automobile. Whether it's a small dent or a major accident, if your vehicle needs auto body repair, check out Reflections Paint and Body Shop. All repairs are completed by highly skilled and trained professionals. They are located at 2910 Waller Street in Waller, Texas. And just in case you can't get it into them, they provide towing services. Call them today, 936-931-5780. That number again, 936-931-5780. Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union has 13 different locations to better serve you. Locations in Rosenberg, Missouri City, Katy, College Station, Bryan, Brenham, and Waller, Texas. For more information, you can contact them on their toll-free number, 855-391-2149. Or you can send an email to information@bvscu.org. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas.
This broadcast has been made possible by the support of the Prairie View Athletic Club. The Prairie View Athletic Club is a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics. For more information on becoming a member of the Prairie View Athletic Club, send your email to pvathletic.club@gmail.com. That email address again is pvathletic.club@gmail.com. Prairie View Athletic Club, a proud supporter of Prairie View A&M University athletics.
Have sports, will travel. The Open Mic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. You never know what's going to happen, and you never know how things come under siege in between breaks. But thanks to the steady hand of the man on the other line here on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline, he needs no introduction, but I guess he is worthy of it anyway, even though he's representing them fellas from down the road. But I got much love for him. He is none other than Athletic Director Kevin Granger. How you doing this evening, sir?
Great, Mike. How's everything going on your end?
Man,
Thanks for having me on.
Everything is going great. Thank you for stepping aside, if you would. I know you're on a little getaway. Mama says it's time for you to get away. You've been grinding hard enough, and I really appreciate it. And tell Mama Granger we said thank you.
Oh, no problem at all. Always glad to get on.
Yes, sir. Well, we're glad to have you on. A lot been going on. A very condensed fall season or spring season that's going to turn right back around for the fall. How were you guys able to weather that storm, man? And would you want to do that ever again?
That would be a no. We don't want to do that again at all. I'm glad we were able to get through it, but like most HBCUs, our staff work all the events, and cover all of our sports. We don't have certain staff that are assigned for, to put on this event and put on that event and put on that event. So when you have all of your sports running at the exact same time, it's a huge strain on the athletic staff when it comes to HBCU schools. So we've been stretched out, and I'm so glad and I'm so thankful to the staff that we had that we were able to get through it.
I know so well. You talk about your unsung heroes, and we talk about it from occasion or on occasion, is that these support teams, man, they get the brunt of it for real, Coach. And I'm just speaking on behalf because I can always spend somebody else's money, right? I think you ought to find some money and give all of them a little bonus, man.
Well, I think you're exactly right. They have always been the unsung heroes. And I tell people all the time, when we win a championship or when any program win a championship, everybody thinks a lot of times it's the players and the coaches, but it's actually not. It's so much more than that. It's all of the support staff that put those people in a position where they can achieve. And so they are always on our list as our unsung heroes. We give them more credit or just as much credit as anyone involved with winning the championship.
Now, we also talk about that has a cause and effects on your budget as well, because some are plentiful. They have multiple. I'm thinking SIDs right now. Some have multiple SIDs and some are one-stop shops. And, man, how they get it done is amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It is. It's truly amazing. Obviously, we try to support them and give them, as many people as we can. A lot of times it's via grad assistance, via making connections and partnership with your school of communication. So it's ways that you try to, accommodate it and get them, some type of help or some type of assistance. But as you said, these SIDs, and in particular, I can speak for the one at Texas Southern, does a great job with what we have.
Okay, we're on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline with Athletic Director Kevin Granger of the Texas Southern Tigers. Some big moves on the basketball side of things. We've congratulated you on your son, but you're going to have a famous partner or teammate with your son in Shaquille O'Neal. Man, you guys just keep reloading, huh?
Yeah, well, we try to. We try to hang our hat. I think if you know anything about basketball, and sure everyone does, it's one of our strongest suits on our campus is basketball. One of our, our premier sports that we try to, always be competitive. Not that we don't try to be competitive in everything that we have on the campus, but our basketball program has traditionally been our hallmark of Texas Southern University. And so we're excited that Coach Jones is able to sign to have the success he had last year, and then, this year, the success he had, and to continue that with continue to bring in more excitement and more notoriety to the program.
Now, I know a lot of people, they wish that you had more home non-conference games, and that's easier said than done, but there's a method to the madness, is it not?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we obviously, our coaching staff, and I think it started with Coach Davis. Our coach and Coach Jones kind of follow that same formula. They go out and play on the road because they want to play against all of the schools or the schools that they feel will be in the tournament. So therefore, our expectation, obviously, we don't get it done every single year, but our expectation is to win the the SWAC tournament and participate in the NCAA championship. So he always wants his team to be battle tested. So when you get there, it's not a shock when you have to play against those type of schools. I know even back in the day when I played the game at Texas Southern University, the first year we got there, we were shocked because we were playing Duke, and you see Duke on television all the time. And then the next year we were a lot more prepared, a lot more relaxed when we went up against Arkansas. And I think you can see the results were totally different as opposed to playing against Duke. We said in the locker room after the game, we played like we were just happy to be there playing against Duke, not that we could compete against them. So we said that going forward, we would never be in that situation again because we feel like we could play with anybody, and we were going to go out there and show that on the court.
Absolutely. Now, when I think of Texas Southern, just as you mentioned, there's a lot of focus from basketball, especially from the outside looking in. With you being in Texas, do you find that sometimes a hard stigma to shake, or do you embrace that? Because, Texas is football, football is king. How do you balance that?
Well, we embrace it, to be honest with you. I mean, you have to go on and lay on your tradition while you're trying to build up the other sports. Obviously, if you think of Texas Southern, it's traditionally we've had a lot of success in basketball, and it's no different than our TSU track and field. If you think about the Dave Whitney days, the track coach days, not Dave Whitney's basketball. When you think about our track coach of the past, and the success that the Flying, Tigers had and the establishment that they had for track. So it's no different than that. Our basketball has been our hallmark of our university, and we just continue to embrace that while we're trying to get the other sports. We do recognize that football in Texas is big, is huge, and so we're trying to get the football team up to par as well.
Right. Well, I'm on record for saying, and it's no attack toward football, nor any attack, and it's not just HBCUs, but FCS as it's overly structured. It's almost like an uphill climb, Coach, on an icy slope, because it just doesn't weigh out for the money spent to the return on it. And I know people cringe when I say that. Now, football is that feel good, get the testosterone pumping, and it is a identifying piece of the overall image of the campus. But it's a lot of money to get a football program moving, especially in the right direction.
Yeah, it is. It is. It does take a lot of money. The one thing that you can do in football is always depending on how many season tickets and tickets you sell at your home events. If you're moving your tickets and you're moving season tickets well and you're selling, out your football stadium, then obviously your football program can bring in the finances like you're talking about. But if you're not selling you're not selling seats and you're not selling season tickets, then it could be really, really costly on these universities.
And just lead me right to the next question, sir, talking about costly. There is no secret that the huge elephant has been the whispers, the echoes, and the bellows of a certain conference been trying to dangle a carrot to lure some particular schools from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We had Athletic Director Reed on last week, and he definitely said that is no remote chance of that happening. I've got to ask you this, Coach, because I know people are listening. Have you guys entertained the possibilities of transitioning over to the Southland Conference?
No, we haven't. We haven't at all. For us at Texas Southern University, we like the directions that the Southwestern Athletic Conference is headed now. We think the Commissioner McClellan, is doing a great job and have came and brought some new ideas and new ways to strengthen the conference. And I think you saw with the joining of Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman that the conference is going to be pretty strong. So we're hoping as the conference continues to get stronger, we have some options on some television deals that is possible for the conference office to renegotiate and things of that nature. And so if we get all of those things aligned, we think we'll start to grow the conference and be more viable and where we can have a better revenue share to go back to each school.
Yes, sir. Now, my understanding there was a new deal signed for the MEAC Swag Challenge and the Celebration Bowl 6 years, if I'm not mistaken. That has no effect on the other sports, if what I'm hearing, correct?
Correct. That's absolutely correct. But we also, the commissioner is working on trying to get some of the football inventory back and things of that nature where you can, show them on different, you can sign some additional TV deals, maybe, if it's possible, then and that would allow you to hopefully, do some other things as well as he's working with ESPN to get us more options on quality days and things of that nature as well. So I think the conference office is doing a great job of trying to explore all avenues that's available for us as a conference so we can make the conference better.
Well, good luck on trying to recapture some of that inventory. That's going to probably be a real dogfight right there. But there are probably some local opportunities, and would be great to see it stretch to its maximum capabilities. We are on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union hotline with the athletic director of the Texas Southern Tigers, none other than Kevin Granger. Let me just add a little kudo, former basketball great Kevin Granger. How's that, sir? I'm being nice.
That sound right. You can't go wrong with that.
I can't go wrong with that one. Now, look, we just completed a softball season. Miss Rodriguez, the interim tag was removed. I don't know how you guys continue to get it done, man. 11 consecutive Western Division titles, and the big Achilles, I wouldn't even say Achilles heel, the big elephant in the room, no facilities. What's the magic? What you all drinking in Houston, man?
Well, I think if you look at it, Coach Barker, who Coach Rodriguez was under, did a yeoman's job of establishing that program and getting that program out there, and it continued. Obviously, Coach Rodriguez was on his staff, and Coach Barker's just done a fantastic job. I mean, as you said, anytime you can do 11 things in a row, I don't know how do you win 11 straight? Yeah, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. And it just goes to show that sometimes you can beat obstacles. I mean, obviously, as you said, an elephant in the room, we don't have a facility on campus, but the coaching staff and the players have not let that be a deterrence for them. Obviously, we do all we can, and we got great partners with the city of Houston. I mean, the partnership is great. They don't make us feel like it's not our facility, although we know it's not. We do things around it to try to jazz it up and make it feel like it's a Texas Southern venue when you come out there. And I think the players relate to that, but we do a great job of, especially our coaching staff, of finding the talent, mixing the right talent together and going out there and being successful.
Absolutely. You just brought up a point I'm going to touch on in just a second. But when you talk about, we know that facilities are great, but isn't this somewhat of proof is that facilities are good, but they're not the cure-all for having successful programs?
Correct. I totally agree. I mean, we would love to have for baseball, softball, soccer, and you name it right there in our wheelhouse on our campus. But if you look at the success we've had, we've shown that it's ways you can get around things. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care what kind of facility you're in, you still got to have coaches and you got to have players, and those players and coaches have to mesh. You have to get the right athlete in for the right system or style you're trying to incorporate. So it doesn't matter if you're playing in Taj Mahal and you don't have the right, formula or the right, ingredients where everything is working together and you have a quality product on the field. It doesn't matter. So obviously on the diamond, we've been able to have the right coaching staff as well as they've been able to get the right players, and those players have been great for the system that they're trying to incorporate.
Yes, sir. Now, when you talk about the pieces to fit, it's going to lead us to recruiting. And we know that all budgets are not equal. And when you look at this, Coach, and this is no diss, but this is what it is. When you go just in the state of Texas alone, with all of the institutions that make up this huge, wonderful state, Prairie View and Texas Southern come somewhere between 19, 20, or 2021 on the pecking order as far as places to choose from for high-quality athletes. How do you overcome that?
Well, I think, as you said, you said about Texas, sometimes you have to, and most people don't understand this, sometimes you have to get outside of Texas a little bit, too, as well. A lot of people grew up in the state of Texas, and a lot of them want to get out of the state of Texas, or they want to go to the bigger schools in the state of Texas. As you mentioned, facilities, and I've shared that with our alum, that's what we have to start addressing. Many of the student athletes today, the first thing they look at facilities. And if you go to any of the, the power schools in the state of Texas, Prairie View or Texas Southern is not going to be able to compete when you're talking about that aspect. So we have to change it up. We have to bring a different approach to the recruiting. And one thing we hang our hat on, we got the highest GSR in the history of the school is at 84%. So our students athlete graduate. So we try to, stress that out with the parents. It's more of a family atmosphere, obviously, when you come to a HBCU, where we're really trying to look out for your baby and make sure that your baby leave the school with some papers in their hands so they can be quality and productive citizens. I don't think, I don't think that they get that same level of care or nurture that you would get at a HBCU anywhere else.
Okay, and when you, I guess, count up all the possibilities and the scenarios, it's not an excuse, but it makes it pretty challenging. And I'm on record for saying this. Some of the challenge that we have, and I don't know if you're going to agree with what I'm about to say, in our cases, we end up recruiting athletes that we have to train and convert to being the player that they need to be, whether it's a basketball player, football player, baseball player. And sometimes that is part of the delayed process of our programs being where they need to be.
Well, it could be. I mean, it could be. Sometimes, though, we get the diamond in the rough, if you want to say. We get the ones that have to get the ones from the smallest, market areas that haven't been on the radar that could be just as good, if not even better, than the player that's seen all the time. And sometimes we have to go to those country towns, if you want to say. I'm from a country town, so I was
going to say, wait a minute now. Where?
yeah. So I can call it a country town because I'm the definition of that when I hit Texas Southern University. And so sometimes we have to do that to try to go out and get the type of talent and the players that we need, so those players can actually come in day one and be ready. They're on the same level, but just haven't gotten quite the exposure of the other kids that are in the big areas. So it's two folds to it. Then obviously, as you said, sometimes you're not getting a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. You're getting the 1 and 2, and you have to build them up so they can go out there and compete against the 3, 4, 5s.
Yes, sir. And now the danger about that these days, Coach, you get a kid, let's say that you rescue, you train them, condition them, then they think they're bigger than the program. Then they hit these portals that is so easily available to us today.
Yeah, it's a different time. It's a different time. It's a different day and age for college students. I mean, as you said, you can become great or become better, and then all of a sudden you can be like, okay, I'm good now. Let me go somewhere else, and then that's just the risk that's out here with the portal these days. So you just do the best you can, and you have to be ready to adjust. Just as a player hit the portal for you, that means some players are hitting the portals for other schools as well. So you just have to stay mindful, stay on it, and do the best you can. Obviously, we try to put our student athletes in a position where everyone can be successful, not just on the playing surface, but in the classroom as well. And hopefully, that's the deciding factor that, most of them want to stay.
We're on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline with Kevin Granger, Athletic Director of the Texas Southern Tigers. Warp speed season with this spring, everything that was going on at one time. Now you get to have a woo-saw moment just for a little bit. Then we have the Labor Day Classic coming up. You'll be hosting this event. And are you feeling the pressures, Coach, just yet, or you still got a little time to kind of relax?
Well, I mean, the pressure don't never stop in athletics. I will say that. I mean, because you're constantly trying to better your programs and better the situation that your department is in. So soon as, we just concluded, I tell you, everybody said, well, athletics is over. No, we just had a student athlete that was in the NC2A championship in track and field. So we just ended up, obviously last week with all of the sports being done. But as soon as that's over, we're in summer school, and we have athletes on the campus going to summer school, people in the weight room, people working out and things of that nature. So athletics, I mean, it's never really a stoppage point where you can kind of say, okay, it's good to go now because you're already always planning and trying to be prepared and trying to get ahead of the game and go into the next season. So we're hard at it. We're trying to get ready, as you said, for the Labor Day Classic. It'll be here before you know it. We've been already starting to have discussions about who's doing the coin toss, what all the events we can surround around the Labor Day Classic, as well as trying to get our football team to be prepared for that game. We know what, anytime Texas Southern and PV play against each other, it's going to be a great event.
It's going to be a great event. And let me put it like this, too. We know it's a rival, but it's a very domesticated rival, if you allow me to put it
Correct.
like that.
Oh, no question.
A lot of respect for both sides. We're going to talk our noise, because we all know anybody that got sense enough to know that Prairie View is much better than Texas Southern. But we know that we have to accept.
I wouldn't go that far now.
I was waiting on you to come back. You kind of hesitated on me, man.
Well, I don't like to steal your thunder. I like to let you have your moment. I want you to get it all out. My parents taught me don't be so rude and just stop people when they talk.
I do understand. Now, look, when you really put your assessment hat on with your athletic department, On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest, where would you rate your program and why?
Well, I will rate us right now at about a 5. And I'll tell you the reason why. We have a lot to do when it comes to the facilities at Texas Southern University to get better in that area. And obviously, as we strengthen up and address some of those issues, our performance level has to go up. I mean, I've made no secret with any of our coaching staff. We got to get better. We got to do better. I mean, yeah, winning the softball winning 11 consecutive Western divisions is great. Basketball winning the championship, the tournament is great, but we got to get better in all the other areas too. If you know anything about me, I'm super competitive. I don't even like to lose in marbles. And so I think our program should be competing for championships. That's just my motto of it. I think we're in a position where we should be competing for championships. And if somebody hit the throw the 95 miles per hour fast pitch down us and strike us out at the last bat and win the championship, we can accept that. But we should be at least in the game. We should be competing for championships, and that's our job, and that's our motto, and that's what we're trying to get our programs to. So I can't say we're above 5 right now because we're not winning the championships at the rate that I think we should be.
Okay, and with that being said, we know that Prairie View won the Commissioner's Cup, and once again, I'm on record. I thought it should be a couple of categories because when the dust has settled, all teams are not offering all 18 sports, and it's somewhat of a disadvantage, if you allow me just to put it that way. Do you think it should be a Group A and a Group B, or just keep it as it is?
Well, I think you got to keep it as it is. I think it's upon the other schools. They know the playing field. I think it's upon the other schools to get up to the 18 sports if you really want to compete for the Commissioner's Cup. That's what we are looking at now. We're looking at maybe bringing back our tennis program so we can at least be in the game. I mean, you can't be in the game if you're missing 2 sports. We currently offer 16, so you got to at least be in the game if you want to have an opportunity to compete for the Commissioner's Cup. So I think it's upon the other schools to come up with creative ways where they can get back to being able to compete in all 18 sports if they want to have an opportunity to obviously win the Commissioner's Cup. And it's going to get back to your competitiveness. I mean, obviously the people that are winning the Commissioner's Cup are having a successful year on the playing surface, whatever playing surface they're participating in. So it gets back to my previous point. You got to be competing for championships to give yourself a chance as well.
Okay, look, I had someone ask me this, and it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. And I have my answer, and I'll wait upon your response. They say, well, Prince, which would you rather have, a football championship or a Commissioner's Cup? And what's your response to that, sir?
Well, it's true. For me, I want both. As a vice president of athletics, I want both. I want a football championship and I want the Commissioner's Cup. And I'll tell you, I don't want to preference because everybody be like, well, man, you need a football championship. No, the Commissioner's Cup means your overall success as a program is better because you can win one championship and still don't be totally out of the ballpark when it comes to the Commissioner's Cup. But if you're competing for the Commissioner's Cup, that means not only are you winning basketball, baseball, track, volleyball, and things of that nature. So it gives you an opportunity for many more of your sports, obviously, to be successful. So I wouldn't say just a football championship as being over athletics, because that means we could just be good in football. But what about the other 15 sports that we're offering? And so I would say the Commissioner's Cup is more important if you gauging it. If you want to gauge the two, I would say the the Commissioner's Cup is more important when you're talking about the overall umbrella of the athletic department. Obviously, most people would say a football championship because you get to the Celebration Bowl, and obviously then you can have a payout, which many of the HBCU schools obviously would love to take advantage of that. And many of the other sports, as you know, you can win a softball championship or track and field outdoor championships, and you won't get the payout that you'll get for winning the football championship.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And, sir, with all that has transpired this last year, what has Kevin Granger learned about himself as a leader and as a person?
That I'm flexible. I'm flexible. You have to be. Going through the season we just had to go through with COVID-19, you had to be flexible. You had to rely on staff, and you had to understand that you don't know everything in this business. We had to rely on our doctors' guidance to tell us when, where, and how to move around. We obviously had to become great communicators, so everyone can be on the same page. We even developed, Mike, to be honest, we were having a little, where everybody wasn't on the same page. So I incorporated a weekly meeting. We normally don't meet the whole department every week. We'll do it once a month. We had to go back. We had to incorporate once a week just so, because information was constantly and always changing through this. So we wanted to make sure our staff always stayed on the same page. And if an issue arose, we would be there so everybody could hear the issue and get everybody on the same page. So flexibility, I learned that I'm super flexible, and by far do I not know it all when it comes to athletics. Obviously, we have a team, and all of the team is valuable, and I made sure of that.
Well, sir, as always, I want to thank you for making yourself available with us on this evening. And we didn't even have no real serious spatter. I'm proud of both of us.
I know. Maybe I figured you must be nice because I was out of town, and I came on when I cut my little trip, broke free of my trip.
Yes, sir.
To get on the phone, so I figured you must have been real nice.
Yes, sir.
And let me also say this, Mike. It's Coach Bethany who was winning the championships for the track. I don't want to people, my alums or someone to hear and say, hey, he said they went and he never came back to clear it up. So I want to make sure I made it correct.
Well, with that, sir, we're going to give you some closing thoughts and comments, and the floor is now yours.
All right. As I said, Mike, it's always a pleasure coming on with you. I think you do a great job getting the information out about HBCUs and keeping everybody abreast. I'm excited about TSU athletics going into next season, even with the start of Labor Day Classic. I think we hosted, as you said. So now hopefully everything is kind of getting back to the new norm, and we expect a big crowd. Should be a great game. Last year, if you look at the game played this past season, it came down to the wire against Texas Southern Prairie View, and I expect it to be the same thing. Obviously, both schools try to get off to a great start to set a tone, and so we're just looking forward to that, and that'll be the first event we put on when the season starts up.
Yes, sir, and it's going to be excitement as usual. Look, my man, I thank you very much. Tell Mama Granger thank you again. And look, happy Father's Day to you on next weekend, my man. Happy
Father's Day to you too, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. That was Athletic Director Kevin Granger of the Texas Southern Tigers. The guys down the road in the maroon and gray meeting in with us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union Hotline. We're going to take us a break, and we'll be right back with more of tonight's episode right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it right where you got it. We'll be right back. That ain't right. Coach, that was awesome, man. You're a bad man. Look, with your Texas Southern self.
Never let anyone devalue or underestimate.
I know that's right. Hey, man, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you so much again, okay?
Many times we hear people say, wow, you're lucky. I wish I was as lucky as you were. I've learned something about the word luck. It's not necessarily one having luck, be it good or bad. It's about how a person applies the life lessons learned to their next assignment or challenge that lies ahead. We all are faced with challenges. We all have obstacles. We all have days that we wish we could have stayed in bed. The bottom line is, you take what's in front of you, work with what you've got until your change comes. The next time someone tries to tell you that you're walking around in this wealth of luck. It's okay to smile and accept it. But if you remember nothing else, remember this. Luck is spelled Luck, which stands for labor under correct knowledge. And when you labor under the correct knowledge, more than likely you will come out ahead of whatever situation is laid before you. This has been another moment with Mike. Thank you for tuning in. You guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.
The Open Mic Broadcast Network would like to take this time to recognize its sponsors and underwriters: Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Prairie View Athletic Club, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Reflections Paint and Body Shop, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Diva Skin Conditioner, Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill. For more information on how you can become an underwriter or a sponsor here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, our number to call is 832-213-8824. Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas.
Did you know since 1986 the Prairie View Athletic Club has been in full support of Prairie View athletics? From football to tennis, the Prairie View Athletic Club has been there in the time of need. Did you also know that the Prairie View Athletic Club is open to all of those who will be interested in supporting Prairie View athletics? You do not have to be a former student athlete. You don't even have to be a graduate of Prairie View. If you are a community member at large and you would like to support the efforts of the Prairie View Athletic Club in support of Prairie View athletics, simply call 936-857-5817 and join today. The Prairie View Athletic Club, supporting Prairie View athletics since 1986. Call for more information right now. 936-857-5817.
We are the SWAC. Our heritage lifts us to great heights because my history is forged by trailblazers that motivates me today to focus on my future. We are the SWAC. We are the new trailblazers. And this is my heritage.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Listen to the Mike Prince Show, weekdays on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The voice of student athletics, the Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Mike Prince Show live, right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Coach Kevin Granger, or Athletic Director Kevin Granger, joining us on the Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union line. A lot to talk about. Always good information that we get from these guys. This has been, I guess, a week and a half of Athletic Directors Row, if you would. We had Athletic Director Dr. Donald Reed from Prairie View A&M University. We also had newly appointed Athletic Director Mr. Chris Robinson of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff this past week. And, of course, tonight, Kevin Granger. And as we were going over some data, it can be rough being an athletic director, not just in HBCUs, but just athletic directors, period. And the lifespan of these guys is not that long when you kind of look at it overall. These guys, if you're around 3-5 years, man, consider yourself blessed. Consider yourself lucky to be able to hold it down that long. And you wonder, how can programs truly get established, make their mark, if you're not positioned correctly at the top in leadership. In collegiate athletics, of course, your athletic director in sync with your president. And a lot of times it's not as in sync as one would think it should be. Sometimes you wonder if the presidents are that much bought into athletics, and then you have to wonder or at least think that the athletic director's part of their job or mission is to lay out the necessities for the president and say, this is direction based upon my research, data, and know-how that we should be heading. Sometimes the president say, this is where we're going. Don't come back trying to alter anything. It is what it is. Take it for what it is and go. Are there some bad jobs to take as ADs? Some would say yes. Some would say no. Is there an ideal? And I'm not talking Power 5. We know Power 5 has what it has. When your ADs are making seven figures, your coaches are making seven figures. But I'm talking in the world of what we're going to call reality. Mid-majors, FCS, NAIAs, those programs where your athletic director still has the roles and responsibilities, but are they being handcuffed? Or is there more lateral freedom in some places versus others? I've heard some horror stories, of how it could be really rough on an athletic director trying to get some things accomplished. And it seemed like what should be allies end up being frenemies. They are blocking your path. And let's be honest, some of our people in these leadership roles don't understand the dynamics of all the sports that they're over. They're focused on a couple of the sports, and we know what those sports are: football, basketball. They will give everything they have, all their efforts, their energies, and finances, even if they don't have the necessary finances, to make sure that those programs are the front runners. And meanwhile, those who are left behind are fed for the slaughter. Is that good? You can't have a long future with that, because at the end of the day, your athletic directors are going to be judged just as your coaches are going to be judged on wins and losses. So it's a very dynamic piece. It's a tricky piece, and it's always something that could be done. Some type of improvement can be made at any given point. And with that being said, we kind of set you up for tomorrow's episode, hopefully, unless something breaks overnight, on some things that we found out, that we found to be very interesting, almost alarming. And some of you may be aware of it, and some of you may not even be aware that it's on the radar. But when you hear the numbers, I guarantee you're going to scratch your head if you're not already aware of it. And some of you, like I said, you might not been fully aware of it. You kind of hear it in passing and going, but not really in tune to what is. And that is the key to anything. Anything. I don't care what the organization is. We happen to be talking about athletics. Yeah, your players go out and perform. Your budgets are this. Your facilities are that. But the buck stops with leadership. To whom much is given, much is definitely required. And it's more to it than sitting in the big boy or the big girl's seat, smoking stogies and sipping on cognac and say, yeah, I'm that one. You got to get out there and make it happen. And then when it doesn't happen and you have to fall on your sword, don't make no excuses. Because there are 3 roles that I see that are right off the top a key factor for athletic directors, that they are, let's say, coming a little short, Number one, you must raise money. And when I say raise money, I'm not talking about signing up a bunch of guarantee games. I'm talking about you got to beat the bushes and you got to find that money. The number two thing that is key to athletic directors' overall success in their program, they've got to raise money. Yeah, I know I said that was number one, but it's also number two. And when I say raising money, your non-traditional ways of raising money. Whatever fundraising hats you can put on, that athletic director is going to have to do that and some of stepping outside of the box. The number three thing that athletic directors are going to have to do is raise money. And a lot of times, the money is right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. But because it doesn't look the way we are accustomed to seeing it, it doesn't sound the way we're accustomed to it to sound, we don't recognize it. We bypass it. And we'll go 40 miles out the way for money that's right there in front of you. And we have to learn how to hear even when they're not speaking. How to see even when they're trying to hide. I am a strong believer, strong believer, that the money is there when you know how to look for it. Now, it might not be a lot of it, but it's enough of it to help you get a little bit further down the road. And I think whatever model is being taught, they might have to go back and tweak it just a little bit because we have our traditional ways of doing some things. And then you got to add that new millennial twist and some old fashioned twist and just go out there and get it done. Because when the dust settles, that athletic director is going to be the one that really takes the brunt of it. Yeah, coaches come and go. Athletic directors come and go as well. And speaking of coming and going, my time has come where I must exit stage left. And it is truly amazing how the time flies when you're having fun. I want to thank our guest on this evening, Athletic Director Kevin Granger of the Texas Southern Tigers, getting ready for our Labor Day Classic. And we were nice to each other today. We'll make up for it next time. I want to remind you guys that you can join us each and every day right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. It is our daily mission to bring you news that you could use, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can leave your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns on the 24-hour message line, 713-570-6736. I've got to go. My time is far spent. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much for joining in with us. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.